Previously, I did a video on the history of Lucha Libre. However, that mostly focused on the CMLL, which just might have been something of a disservice to a certain promoción de Lucha Libre which I only barely mentioned. However, it's time to finally remedy that, as we're going to take a look at one of the biggest Mexican wrestling companies to ever exist. Some would even say the biggest of all time, as this was the company where many top talents were first recognized, as well as collaborating with many other wrestling promotions such as the WWF, WCW, TNA, New Japan, and even AEW. Not to mention that they also gave us a show called Lucha Underground. So just sit back and relax, because we're finally going to give this great promotion its due, as this is the history of AAA. Thank you to Cool Ass Jack and Inigo Montoya and all of my other Patreon supporters for all the help during these times. Alright, before we get into the history of AAA, allow me to ask that you please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and that you give this video a big like, as it really does help things out. Anyway, with that being said, thank you in advance, and let's get into the video. The Asistencia Asesoría y Administración de Espectáculos, or the Assistance Advising and Administration of Shows, was originally conceived as an umbrella company to oversee a multitude of touring programs. However, that never came to be, and instead the company wound up just focusing solely on Lucha Libre. At least that's one version of the story. Truth be told, it's really hard to find a 100% official reason why AAA has its name, but we're just gonna go with that. Founded in 1992 by Antonio Peña after breaking away from the Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre due to clashing with one Juan Herrera, Peña would find himself more creative freedom with running his own promotion instead of working for someone else, as he was the primary creative mind behind the CMLL, which was a company that some were beginning to feel had become complacent and stale by focusing on older talent rather than shining the spotlight on new and exciting stars. At any rate, before becoming official, Peña began talks with the Mexican TV network Televisa about forming a brand new wrestling promotion, as Televisa themselves were also becoming disenfranchised with the CMLL, although despite that, they did feel that Peña was a great mind for the business and he absolutely had to be heard, and so they decided that Antonio Peña would be their guy. These talks would first have to happen in secret, although everything would leak in April of 1992. But fortunately, by then, everything was already set, with the company holding their first press conference making their announcement on May 7th of that same year, with all the talents involved wrapping up the rest of their contractual obligations. Along with them, Peña took new emerging young talent like Conan, Cien Caras, Blue Panther, and Octagon, the latter of which felt a loyalty to Peña since he was the one who helped develop the Octagon character. In addition to this, AAA also found other up-and-coming stars of the time, like Rey Mysterio Jr. and Psicosis. Oh, for you see, pushing young talent wasn't just one of the goals from jump in order to combat the CMLL, but it was also a happy byproduct of upsetting the Mexican Wrestling Union. Since they were being backed by a television network, TV programming was naturally a high priority for Televisa in order to get them involved, even if it meant going against union rules. So to counter this, finding a lot of beginning non-union wrestlers became a necessity to bulk up the roster, which only worked to add to their desire to promote young talent. And on top of that, Peña now had a lot of fresh faces to give a lot of brand new characters to. And so, by now, AAA's first order of business was to starve out other Mexican promotions of fresh talent, similar to what WWF did during its original rise to prominence under Vince McMahon Jr. And just like with the WWF, this would level the playing field. Rival promotion the UWA would wind up having one of their top stars, El Hijo del Santo, leave to join AAA. Following this, and the UWA would go out of business. And just like that, seemingly overnight, AAA was a major player on the Mexican wrestling scene, proving the importance of Peña to the entire industry. Now, Peña's way of thinking was at the very heart of the promotion, as new faces and solid booking was the method that was used to grow their popularity so fast. For example, Eddie Guerrero and his partner Art Barr were featured as the heel team of Los Gringos Locos, the Crazy Americans, who played up being American in order to get heat with the Mexican audience. This was just a small sampling of the highly gimmick characters that AAA would become known for. From here, this would serve as the golden years for the company, with them debuting their biggest show of the year, Triple Mania, in 1993. However, this would pale in comparison to what some would call their biggest show of all time, a pay-per-view event called When Worlds Collide. This show was held in Los Angeles, California, and was a joint promotion with the International Wrestling Council, and also received help from Eric Bischoff and WCW, giving them a technical staff and procuring their presence with American pay-per-view providers, thus making them the first non-United States wrestling promotion to be aired on US pay-per-view. And not only that, but this was one of the first times that many Americans of that generation were exposed to Lucha Libre, resulting in many of AAA stars going into high demand for American audiences. Which of course was something of a double-edged sword, but at least it was getting people work. Although, following this, and things would begin to take a turn, with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Psicosis all leaving to join ECW, and El Hijo del Santo exiting AAA due to creative issues. Other talents would leave too, but another major factor was the economy of Mexico at the time, as that was also shifting, and not for the better. This resulted in Televisa beginning to withdraw funding for the promotion. With less income, there was also less room for frivolous purchases, like professional wrestling tickets, and so with fans spending less money, the company had far less to offer too, thus further incentivizing talents to seek employment in the United States. To remedy this, AAA would begin a working relationship with the WWF, participating in the 1997 Royal Rumble, and this proved to be quite effective, as AAA kept itself going by really strengthening its ties with other promotions all around the world, not just the WWF but also New Japan as well, thus making them more of an international company, leading them to eventually give themselves the official and current name of Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, or simply just AAA. And with this name change, AAA now just means AAA, as it's no longer an acronym. Then, after the company was left in the hands of Maricela Peña, Antonio's sister, and Antonio's brother-in-law, Joaquin Rodin, this strategy would simply continue going forward, with AAA partnering up with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. In addition to this, they would also begin teaming up with their old rival promotion of the CMLL, and they would also create a brand new show called Lucha Underground, which might just be the culmination to their long-standing reputation for pushing the envelope and for having big personalities. But that's enough for now, as Lucha Underground could get an episode of its very own. Then, in February 2019, AAA would sever their relationship with Televisa, with them aligning up with TV Azteca instead. And today, AAA would continue to have great working relationships with other promotions around the world, such as AEW, with FTR, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti all holding AAA gold as of this recording. Well, there you go, the history of AAA. What are some of your favorite AAA moments? Let me know down in the comments, and please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and give this video a big like. Also, while I'm at it, thank you again to all my wonderful Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching. And as always, Dave knows.